not the result the team wanted, but it's just one of those nights that you're kind of happy with the way you threw, and just kind of able to. The team knows that this offense is going to explode, at any point or on any night. So.
Yeah, if you tell me that we're going to put up a 0 as an offense, I got a hard time believing that. It's just one of those nights. It's a tough night. There's, it's going to happen. You can't forget that. That's a really good ball club over there, and we won the series. Losing the last game is always tough. It kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. But if we'd have lost the first one and won the next two, then we'd be having a ball right now. So at the end of the day, you got to kind of take a step back and look at the big picture and know that we took 2 or 3 of a really good ball team, and all wins are great, all losses are bad. You move on.
As a pitcher, you're always just looking for consistency to go through 9 starts, and 8 of them have been 6+ innings, 2 runs or less. I guess that's all you can ask for. How pleased are you with the way the season's gone so far?
Yeah, that's my job. I want guys to know, and I think any starter in the league wants guys to know when it's when you see my name at the bottom of the lineup card, you know what you're going to get. The ups and downs. It's the tale as old as time. It's one of the oldest sayings in this game. You don't want to ride the wave. You don't want to go up and down. You want to stay as consistent as possible. So. There's a lot of work that goes into that on my end, on our staff's end, training staff, coaching staff, everybody, and my catchers are working their butts off behind the plate. Again, other than tonight, offense has been really, really good throughout my starts, and our defense has been solid. So there's a lot more that goes into it than just that. So I'm appreciative of that and just try to ride that out.
Chris, I asked Walt this earlier, but consecutive series wins with the Dodgers and Cubs. It's May, and both those teams have their own stuff going on that's different. But how do you look at that as far as a barometer when you're competing against these teams that you could be seeing, months from now?
It's better than losing against them. I think throughout an entire season, you want to win as many games as you can, and sweeps, that's kind of the cherry on top, but. You want to win as many series as possible. If you win more series than you lose, then you're going to be in a really good spot with a couple sweeps mixed in there. You're going to lose a few series here and there, but if you can take 2 out of 3 from everybody, you're going to be in a pretty good spot. Those are 2 teams you're probably going to see in October. So, again, winning is always better than not.
Obviously, you're setting the standard as the ace of the rotation, but also the rest of the pitching staff, from the rotation to the bullpen, are performing really well. Not refreshing, but I guess how nice is it to be part of a pitching staff that just has everything kind of going on for them right now?
It's been a lot of fun. Again, it seems like every night we're getting a really quality start out of whoever's on the bump starting. Anytime the ball gets handed over to our bullpen, there's just supreme confidence in those guys. We have some really, really high leverage power arms down there. Again, and it really doesn't matter whose name comes out of the bullpen. I don't even look at the screen anymore, because it doesn't really matter who. You can kind of just pick a name out of a hat in pretty much any situation, and you're confident with who's going to be out there and what they bring to the table. So, that's part of the consistency. You obviously want to have a solid starting 5, and anytime you can get some shutdown innings from the bullpen, it's huge. So it's been a lot of fun.
What happened with the number of outs in the 4th inning? Did you lose track of how many outs there were?
Yeah, I thought there was only 2.
And what did the count the Ducks has out that was?
Yeah, that was kind of me recognizing that I was going to hear about that when I got to the dugout.
You physically, I know you're getting older, but I feel like I'm missing something, your fastball is like your rookie year, going up in the zone at 98. Is that just hard work? Is that you being healthy, or are you doing anything different mechanically, or?
I think there's kind of a lot that goes into that. I've tweaked some things in my off-season routine. Made some adjustments to my throwing program. And really, honestly, just really focusing on hydrating and sleep. those are, you know, this old man's gotta take his cat nap sometimes, so. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, there's a lot that goes into it, and I have an unbelievable team behind me. I wish I could say it's just me rolling out there and able to do this, but, you know, our guys in the weight room have a routine for me that's great. Our training staff, you know, they're in there working day in and day out, you know, keeping me on the field. And I appreciate that, and I know that, you know, without them, I'm not able to do that.
Yeah.
So, again, I wish I could take all the credit for that, but that, you know, that's just not the case.
And I know you don't like to talk about yourself, but is there something to the young guys seeing this process? And was there somebody that you got to see when you were a young guy go about things the right way?
I've said that a lot. I was very fortunate, and I'm very thankful for having good veterans when I was young. Guys that, you know, set a good example and showed me routines. Good coaches that instilled confidence, and again, even, you know, there are some things I still do to this day that I got from AT, my first strength coach. There's still different things I think about from Coop telling me when I was a kid, you know, Juan Nieves, all these guys from the staff side, and then, you know, I'd be here all night if I was gonna name, you know, all my teammates that, you know, kind of paved the road for me to go down. And if I, you know, if I can do that for these guys, I'm more than willing. You know, I'm kind of an open book. I'd like to think I'm really approachable. You can ask me any questions. Game planning is not really my thing in terms of X's and O's and, you know, what hitters' swings looks like and all this stuff. But I can teach you how to compete. So, you know, that's really all I got.
I think it's a good way to end on.
Thank you, guys.